Welcome back to the 2025 James P. Mac McCarthy Southeast Regional Lifesaving Championship, brought to you by the United States Lifesaving Association and Volusia Surf Lifesaving Association and Volusia County Beach Safety. I'm Jim McCready. I'm the USLA Southeast Region Competition Director, and I'm here bringing you this event. This event is now in its 48th year. Started in 1977, originally called the Florida State Lifeguard Championships. Now we've broken this down into regions. We are now the Southeast region, which is most of the state of Florida except for the top northeastern corner, but the rest of Florida, and we also have the beaches of Alabama, and we have the Caribbean island U.S. territories as well, Puerto Rico. And here we are at the second event, which is our rescue board race, also called the board race. Like I said earlier, this is not your tower lifeguard paddleboard or rescue board. These are the highly competitive race rescue boards that lifeguards will spend up to $3,000 for. These boards weigh around 18 pounds, and some are made of carbon fiber. There's a lot of technology that goes into this, and from year to year, competitors pick out different companies to buy their boards from. It's a big industry in Australia where a lot of these boards are purchased. But you can get a relatively good used board for $500–600 if you want to get into this event, just to start it out and see if you like it or not. And in my opinion, it's more about the paddler than the board anyway. I always love it when somebody wins on a beat-up old paddleboard that's 10 years old. So anyway, as we look out on the beach, we see everybody is marshaling. While we're waiting for this, let's give a quick shout out to our supporters to help make this event possible. We have Beaches Entertainment Eatery. Please take time to visit them. We have Joe Lynn Swimwear, longtime supporter of USLA lifeguard events. For your legal needs, Wagner the lawyer dude. Hopefully you won't need him, and if you do, he's there. Cubco, who's done all our screen printing, did an excellent job. The fish tank, make sure you visit the fish tank. Waterman lifeguard gear. I'm wearing a pair of Waterman shorts right now. Great product. And Sea-Tow for all your vessel towing needs, and Tropical Seas Land Shark sun and skincare, keep your skin looking young, and of course visit the Ocean Deck for all your party needs after the event. Advent Healthcare, if you were to get injured, that's where we'd send you. And of course we're here at the Hard Rock Hotel in beautiful Daytona Beach. For all your life-saving statistical needs, please check out Watchtower, great supporter of the USLA. The paddlers are now lined up. They've all been marshaled. They've drawn sticks to determine what lane they're in, and they're in the hands of the starter right now. This race is roughly a half a mile, 800 meters. As you look out onto the course, once the paddlers start, you're gonna see 3 triangular apex buoys. The first of which is somewhere around 300 out. Then you have another 100 meters to the center apex, then a third 100 meters to the final apex, and then another 300 meters in for 800 meters. Lots of strategy goes into this. You'll see a lot of paddlers start off on their chest and do prone paddling, which is very similar to the freestyle stroke. Some of the old school people might even throw in some butterfly to get the board going, and then you'll see them all pop up to their knees for some knee paddling. A lot of people that are very proficient in the knee paddling skill will jump straight up to their knees and forego the prone paddling. But as you see, a lot of people are still down on their chest in the prone position, strategizing as far as where they want to be with respect to the other paddlers, looking over both shoulders to make sure no one's trying to pass them on either the south or north side. A lot of strategy goes into this. Just like the swim race, maybe even more importantly in this race, drafting comes into play. So it's like I said, sometimes you might not be the fastest paddler, but you might be the most strategically savvy paddler. And you're saving your energy by sitting behind a faster paddler, waiting for your moment at the end to pop out and pass them as they've used all their energy to pull you around the course. Surf comes into this race. It's a big part of this race. We don't have a lot of it, but there is a little bit of shore break, which might help to separate the racers at the end of the race. It's super frustrating if you're paddling for that last remaining wave and you miss it, and the guy right next to you catches it, and that could be the determination of who gets that place or not. Paddlers now are about 150 yards out, halfway out to the first apex buoy. This is not a final race, this is a heat. So you're going to see some of the people paddling in a strategic way, trying to save their energy, trying to be one of the top. I'm not sure how many people from this heat they're going to take for finals. I would guess it's probably 8, top 8, or it could be the top 6, I'm not sure. But as you look at the paddlers, you can see that they're not going 100% full out. They're just trying to get those top places to make it into finals. If you're in that last position that makes finals, that's where you're going to see the people scratching and paddling and really trying to get in that top position. But the people out in the front have a relatively relaxed stroke. They've been doing this for a while, so they know who the good paddlers are. They know where they should be with respect to the field, who to draft off of, where to be at what part of the course. They're now headed in. We have a tight pack there in the front. I wish I was closer up. I could tell you who these paddlers are. I'm trying to determine from the beanies. But we have the top 4. They're very safely going to make it into finals. You can't see them in the frame, but if you scan over to the north, we have a lone paddler who appears to be either in first or second place. The pack is coming in. You can see a V formation there, and that's because of the drafting that happens in this event. Much like the seagulls you'll see flying through the air that fly in a V formation, that'll be the same reason these paddlers use that same strategy. Okay, so now they're in about waist deep water. They're looking around for some little set waves, little shore break to help them to the beach. This is where you're going to see your scratching and clawing for those last couple places to make it into finals. Our first paddler is up and he's running. He's got that first handle. He's going to easily win this race. Like I said, they're not going 100% at this point. This is just a prelim. We have first, second, third, fourth place. We have fifth place coming in with the orange board, rainbow board, sixth place. And here we go. These are the people that are racing to make it into the finals. And the first heat of the open men's board race is in the books. They've handed out all the popsicle sticks there at the finish line. The second heat is now underway. They're on their way out to the first apex buoy. I misspoke earlier in that first heat. They will not be using all 3 apex buoys. They'll just be paddling around the 2 inside apex buoys. This is a 600-meter race, typically, but the way the course is set up, it looks like it's a little bit farther than that. The distance guys will be liking that. The sprinters, not so much. But much like the first heat, you're going to see a lot of people kind of paddling 75 to 80%, not going full out, just trying to make their way into the final. And here they go around the course. You know what? It doesn't even look like they're using any of the apex buoys. Looks like they're just paddling the flag line. They probably made a determination on the course that the flag line is out so far that they might as well just use that as the course. I'm guessing in the interest of time, they're doing that so we can get these heats through. We're running a little bit behind schedule. And it's a prelim anyway, so it really doesn't matter as much as the final. For the final, I'm sure they'll be using the full distance. So we have our second heat paddlers heading in around the flag line. Top 3 people, pretty relaxed. Still just doing the prone paddling, just stretching it out. You can see a little drafting there for the second place paddler, just hanging on to the back of that leader's board there. Third place doing the same thing. The strategy involved in this is you want to be as close as you can to the board in front of you to catch the backdraft. You don't want to be too close that you bump their board, then they know that you're there, and they turn on the speed and try to lose you. There's also a side draft that you can use as well that happens off of the wake of the nose of the paddleboard that people will also use. But here we go, we have the top 4 paddlers seem to be easily ahead of the rest of the group. They'll be making it in to the final event. The 5th place paddler also seems sort of relaxed. Then we have 3 paddlers behind him. If I knew how many were making it into finals, I would let you know. Like I said, I'm assuming that it's top 8, that we're gonna have 3 heats, but I'm not sure about that. If it's only 2 heats, here we go. They're coming in now, like I said, very relaxed. These are your seasoned veterans that have done this race a couple times and know that they don't need to use all their energy on a prelim. But as we go farther in the pack, you'll see the guys scratching and clawing, trying to make it into that top group so they can make it into the final. We now have the women marshaling on the beach for their heats. Looks like there were only 2 heats in the open men. So we'll have 8 people from each heat making it into the final. And they're coming in the beach. We have the top 6th, I believe this is 7th. Now we have a little bit of race for 8th place here. And there it is. We've determined our top 16 people for the finals. And much like the swim event, a lot of people will jump in this event just to get a feel for the course. They have no intention on winning the event. Sometimes you get people that are very good at the Ironman events, which encompasses the swim, the paddle, and the paddleboard. And although they might not be to the caliber of paddler that can win this event, their paddling is good enough to put them in a position where they can place in the Ironman event. So a lot of those paddlers will be in this event just to check the course. And then you have a lot of people that just want to participate. They came all the way up to Daytona Beach. They brought their paddleboard. They want to just be part of the race. They're not quite in their skill level to the point where they're going to place, but maybe next year, maybe the year after that. Like I said, a lot of skill goes into this, a lot of training, and a lot of those paddlers are just starting out and they just want to be part of the event. Now we're going to take a look at a graphic of the course that these ladies will be paddling around.
Rescue board race. Athletes will start on the beach facing the water, board in hand. At the announcer start, they will race east out to the north ball buoy, right shoulder turn, making a right shoulder turn on the apex ball buoy, right shoulder turn, apex south ball buoy, racing into shore, finishing with a sprint up the beach with board in hand.
All right, now we're back. We have the ladies lined up on the beach, getting instructions from the officials, being told that they have to wear beanies. All the events, all the competitors in all these events have to wear beanies. If you don't know what a beanie is, it's kind of like a little swim cap that has strings that tie under your chin. These are used for a couple of reasons. They're used for safety, so we can better spot the competitors in the water. They're usually bright colors, bright patterns, so they're easier to see. They also allow us to differentiate between one team and another team. Although a lot of the teams use the color red, it's kind of a traditional iconographic color for lifeguards. So you'll see a lot of red beanies or beanies that have red in them, which makes it sometimes difficult to determine between teams. But the beanies are very important, like I said, for safety and also for the officials to determine who's on what team. In case there's any cheating that goes on, in case there's any type of conflict or controversy, they can better pick out who did what to who. We haven't seen any of that, and the women are off on heat 1 of the open women's board race. It looks like we have 2 heats in the women's board race as well. The women seem to be going for it a little harder than the men were, which leads me to believe that we have a lot of new paddlers in this group that don't know where they fit into this dynamic as far as who's faster than who. We have a paddler out front that seems to be very relaxed, but I see a lot of energy being expended by the paddlers behind her. So let's see what's going on here. I'm guessing that they're just going to use the flag line like they did in the men's, and this is being done for time reasons. The course is a little bit farther than it typically is set up, and they do that because of the tide differential here between low and high tide. There's a big difference here in Daytona Beach, so they have to set the flag line and the buoys out for low tide. So at high tide, you're going to be swimming and paddling a lot longer of a distance. So as we see, we have one paddler very far out in front there. I wish I could tell you who that was, but like I said, we're so far away, I'm having a hard time determining who that is. But whoever that is, they're making an easy time of this course, nice and relaxed. Like I said, in the men's heats, if you can stay on your stomach, save that energy, not necessarily need to jump up to your knees. There's a lot of different advantages to utilizing both types of paddling, the prone paddling and the knee paddling. Both use different muscle groups. So as you're on your stomach doing your prone paddling, you're using primarily your shoulder muscles, some triceps, and then you jump up to your knees and you're using more of your full body with your lower back, your abdominal muscles. It's faster, but it's also more demanding physically. So that's why you'll see the paddlers jumping back and forth between prone paddling and knee paddling. Our paddlers are now halfway across the flag line. It looks like we have a clear and delineated leader here. Second place also well out in front. No concerns here that these two will not make it into finals. As we go farther back in the group, we see 2 groups of 3, very competitive between these next 6 people. This looks like it's going to be our group of 8 that'll make it into finals. Unless we have, like I said before, there's a lot of strategy that goes into this race. A lot of paddlers will be saving their energy by drafting off paddlers in front of them, and then they'll wait till they get closer to shore. They'll pop out on the side and they'll try to beat these paddlers to the beach. And then of course there's always a foot race to the finish line. Sometimes you can be a super fast paddler because you have long arms, long legs, but you might not be a very good fast beach sprinter when it comes to running up the finish line. We see a lot of place changes at the finish line where your wheels come into place, where you run up the beach as fast as you can. You know, maybe you have some skills in the beach flags that you want to showcase in your run towards the finish line. Here we go. We still have, I haven't seen a whole lot of place changes. We have the first 3 paddlers have pretty much been in the same place the whole race. That group of 3 that was racing for 4th place has kind of separated a little bit. It looks like 4th and 5th place are eyeing up 3rd, or maybe just using that paddler for draft purposes. And then we have the next 3, 6, 7, and then we have 8. So that'll be your top 8 that makes it into finals. Like I said, this is only a prelim, so you're not going to see 100% effort unless you're right on that bubble that allows you to make it into the final event. So unless you're in 9th place or you're in 8th and that 9th person is knocking on the door, you're going to be nice and relaxed, trying to save your energy for the final. And not just the final, obviously these competitors do a lot of different events. So if you're going to do 6, 7, 8, some people will do 10 events. You want to save your energy for all these different events. Looks like we have our top 8 coming in on the south end of the course for Heat 1 of the women's paddle. I don't see a whole lot of frantic sprinting, so it looks like everybody kind of knows where they are. Oh, we have a person go down in the surf break there. It looks like we have a race for 8th place here. And that'll do it. That's our top 8 in Heat 1 that'll make it into the finals. Heat 2 has now started. Heat 2 on the north end of the course is underway. Maybe we can pan over there now that the Heat 1 has pretty much resolved itself. And there we have it. We have Heat 2 on their way out to the first flag and the flag line. For those that are used to this event, going around the apex buoys, because the flag line was set so far and because the tide is so high, it was determined by the officials that we're just going to use the flag line, which looks to be 600 meters, which is what this event is designed to be anyway, so it'll work out well for everybody. It'll allow these preliminary paddlers to save their energy for the final event. We have some people out in front here, a couple women kind of, I would say, paddling 75, 80%, saving their energy, knowing where they fit with respect to the group, kind of cruising, trying to make it in the top 8 to make it to finals. And all these competitors, they do this so often. They all know each other. There's a lot of talking that goes on during the event, a lot of camaraderie that goes on. These paddleboard races are very important to hone your paddleboard skills that you use on your rescue boards when you perform your duties in the tower as a professional lifeguard. These same muscle groups that you use in this race are the same muscle groups that will help you to more quickly rescue a drowning swimmer in rough surf. I'll tell you, I wish we had a little bit of rough surf today, and Daytona is known for that, but today we really don't have much. We have a little bit of, I would say, knee-high shore break, which may or may not play into this as our women in Heat 2 get closer to the shore. The group is now around the final flag and the flag line. They're now headed into the beach. Clearly, we have 2 leaders that are going to easily make it into the finals. Right behind them, we have 2 paddlers in 3rd and 4th place, also clearly ahead of the rest of the group. Another group of 2 behind them. That'll be our top 5 that look like they're going to make it into the final pretty easily. And then you're going to have 3 paddlers after them that are going to be scratching and clawing, using all their energy to get in the top 8 to make it into finals. As you see these top 2 paddlers in the front, the paddler in 2nd place is clearly taking advantage of the draft off of the first paddler. This is a great shot right here. And this is tricky, like I said, you want to be close enough to the board that you're enjoying the draft, but not too close that you bump the board in the front. This will also, not only will it allow the paddle in front to know that you're there, but it'll also damage your paddle board. So and these are very expensive boards. Like I said, some of these boards can cost up to $3,000. So, you know, people take care of these boards like they're their baby. They wax them, they keep them clean, they keep them in a dry environment. When you buy a competition paddleboard, it's a big investment. You want to make sure that you don't ding it and beat it up during the race if you don't have to. We have a little bit of wave here on the beach, a little bit of shore break. First and second place are in easily. The first place paddler let the second one go right by her because, like I said, this means nothing more than making it into the finals. Third, fourth, and fifth are now headed in. They're going to easily make finals. We have 6 and 7 also kind of taking it easy. And then we have 8th by herself, going to easily make it into finals. Not a real race here in Heat 2 to make it into the finals, unless this 9th place paddler here can make a push for 8th, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. So we have some nice casual jogging up the beach into the chute, past the checkered flags, and we have our top 8 in the finals. Now we go to the north end of the course again. This is where we have our age group paddlers. This will be, I believe they're going to throw everybody in one heat. I'm just looking down at the competitors and trying to determine how old they are. We'll have paddlers from 30 years old all the way up to paddlers in their 70s. We have had in the past, we've had paddlers in their 80s. I don't believe we have anybody in that age group today, but I could be wrong. This will be paddlers from age 30 up to and including 75 and older. We're going to run this as one heat. So you might not win this heat, but still win your age group. Like I said before, the age groups are broken down into 5-year increments. So the first one, the first seniors group starts at 30 to 34. Then we have 35 to 39, 40 to 44, and all the way up to 75 plus. These are the same age groups that you're probably familiar with if you do any age group pool swimming or you're involved in any triathlons in your area. We use the same age groups as they do. And they're just waiting for instructions from the officials, trying to determine whether this is going to be 1 or 2 heats. If we break this into 2 heats, it'll usually be 30 to 49 age group and then 50 and over for the second group. But if we can get everybody in one heat, we'd like to do that just so we can get the race over with and on to the next event. Time is always something that we look at because we can never predict the weather when we're close to the beach. We have a lot of frontal storms that come through. Some of them bring some lightning, which will shut down the event. So we never know what's going to happen. You could look at the weather forecast in the morning and then 2 hours later it's completely different here on the beach. So we always have to take that under consideration. So the quicker that we can get these prelims over, the better. It looks like we're going to run this as one heat. So we're going to have all of our age group male competitors all paddling against each other in one heat. This is interesting for a bunch of reasons. I absolutely love it when you get some of the older guys in their 40s or even 50s win this and beat out the younger guys in their 30s. It happens every year. And then of course there's a little pride involved in this, even though you may have already won your age group because you know who is in your age group based on the fact that you've done this many years in a row and you know who the people in your age group are because you've competed against them many years in a row. You still might want to beat some of the younger guys just to have bragging rights, especially if they're at a rival beach patrol or maybe even competitors on your own beach that you'd like to beat and have those bragging rights in the locker room. And they're off. We have our age group male board racers heading towards the first flag. As you can see, a lot of the paddlers will go to their stomach and use that prone paddling that I talked about earlier. But we also have a lot of seasoned veterans that have been doing this race for 20, 30 years that pop right up to their knees They know that they can make it around this course on their knees for the whole 600 meters, or sometimes they just use it as a competitive advantage to make it to that first flag. Then they'll pop down to their stomach to do a little prone paddling so they can rest those muscle groups that they use for the knee paddling. Then at the very last end of the flag line, they'll pop back up to their knees and use those knee paddling muscle groups again to try to get that advantage. Like I said, if you're prone paddling, you're using mostly shoulders, triceps, and lats. When you go up to your knees, you're using a whole larger variety of muscle groups, including your lower back muscles, your abs. You're driving your knees through your arms, so you're using all your core muscle groups there. And as we see the age group paddlers, these are seasoned veterans that have been doing this event for a long time. They have incredible balance. They know all the strategies, and this is a race that does employ a lot of different strategies. Like I said before, you'll hear me saying this for the next couple of days and you'll get tired of me probably saying it, but drafting plays a big role in these races. So you'll have some of the slower guys paddling very closely behind the faster guys, trying to take advantage of them breaking the water so they can get pulled around the course by them. As they make their first turn, you can see that everyone's dropped down to their stomach. They're prone paddling, resting those knee paddling muscles. They're also, like I said, because we have so many different age groups together in this race, they're looking around and trying to spot the people that are in their age groups and knowing whether to turn it on or whether to relax. Our leaders are out around the final flag. They're headed in now. You shouldn't see a lot of super fast racing here unless you get two people from the same age group. It's kind of hard for me to determine at this point who's in what age group, but you can sometimes tell that just by watching the effort involved in the racing itself. So as they get closer, we'll be able to see that, whether people are just cruising in, winning their age group, or they're racing somebody next to them because they want to win their age group, or maybe they just want some bragging rights to say that they won the heat, or maybe they beat some younger guys. So let's keep an eye on this. Looks like first place has a good maybe one paddleboard lead. Second place trying to take advantage of that draft. I'm not entirely sure, but that looks like, I can't even tell. I'm not even going to speculate at this point. I'm not sure who we have there. So like I said, first, second, third, and fourth look like they're just cruising. I don't see a whole lot of competitiveness between the people in the front. So I'm guessing that they're not in the same age groups, or if they are, they're saving their energy for the very end. This does, like I said before, this does come down to foot speed at the end. So that will play into this as they get closer to the beach. Now they're in about waist deep water. They're looking now to see if there's any shore break they can take advantage of. Here they come in. At this point, they're going to determine the depth. They're going to jump off their board, grab that front handle, and they're going to run towards the finish line. We have first place. I'm guessing this is somebody in the 30 to 34 age group, but I really don't know. It's hard to tell. We have excellent paddleboard racers in all the different age groups. A little camaraderie there at the finish line, a couple high fives. And the age groupers are heading in through the chute. The popsicle sticks are being handed out. The places will be determined by the scorers on the computer to determine who got what in what age group. As we get farther back in this pack, it is still going to be highly competitive between people in the same age groups. Even though they're not in the front of this heat, it doesn't mean that they're not racing for a championship in their respective age group. Even the guys in the very end there, that you see those last three paddlers at the end of the pack, these guys could also be vying for a championship in their age group, depending on how old they are. We have competitors that do this event, like I said, 30, 40, 50 years. We've had racers in the past in their 80s. So people, they love this lifeguarding, they love these lifeguarding tournaments. They get addicted to the competitiveness, the camaraderie. They make friends for life doing these events, and they come back every opportunity they have. A lot of these same people that you see on the course today will be headed out to Huntington State Beach in California to do the national lifeguard competition that the USLA puts on in early August. And we have our last couple of age group paddlers headed in. Like I said, just because they're in the back of the pack does not mean that they are not regional champions. We have paddlers, like I said, 60s, 70s, 80s doing this event. All right, now we have the women age group board paddlers marshaling. If I had to guess, I would say that this is also going to be a single heat event where all the different age groups will be marshaled together for one big age group competition here. As just like the men, we'll have paddlers here between the ages of 30 and 75 and over. The different age groups are delineated by 5-year increments, so the youngest age groupers will be between 30 and 34 years old. The next group up is 35 to 39, 40 to 44, and so on, all the way up to 75 and over. Looks like they're in the hands of the starter. Everyone's lined up. There's a lot of strategy that even goes into the start here. Some of these women will know that they have an excellent start. They'll try to get out in front early. Other women will know that they're better at drafting, saving their energy for the end, and they'll be employing that strategy. And then a lot of times, you know, the best plans in the world fall apart, and you have to change your strategy halfway through the race. A lot of these women have been racing against each other for many, many years. They know exactly where they stand within this group, and they use that to their advantage when they strategize around the course. And we're off. Looks like we have a full group. Looks like we have somewhere between 15 and 18 paddlers. And just like the men, this is age groups, so even the people at the end of the pack here might be paddling for a regional championship. So by looking at this, don't think just because someone in the back of the pack isn't a champion. In the front of the pack, it looks like we have a lot of competitiveness going on here. This is kind of the feeling out process that happens at the beginning of the race. People looking over each shoulder, trying to determine who's in what age group. Is that person that usually beats me right next to me or behind me? What should I do to counter their strategy? We still have a little bit of current headed from north to south. You can see the paddlers being swept down a little bit on the course. A lot of paddlers knew that going in, and they started their paddle purposely a little bit to the north so they could take advantage of that current, pushing them towards the first flag. And you'll see some other people that didn't take that into account and will be fighting the current as they head towards that first flag. These are all skills that you learn over years and years of racing. And I did bring this up with the men. These paddle boards are not the rescue boards that the lifeguards use in the course of their daily jobs. These are super lightweight, very tippy boards that cost a lot of money, are used only for racing. These boards can run from, maybe you get an old beater for $500, or you can buy a brand new carbon fiber Australian board for $3,000. It depends on how into this you are, how long you've been racing. Like I said, I love seeing it when somebody is on an old board and they win the race, proving that it's more about the paddler than the equipment. But if you have two paddlers, same skill level, same aerobic capacity, then in those instances it does come down to the paddleboard, but very rarely is that the case. I would say 90-95% paddler, 5 to 10% paddleboard. We have our group rounding the last flag on the course, headed into the beach. We have a clear leader here. This is always a fun race for the competitors that just turned 30 and they get to race age group for the first time. Sometimes it's a huge eye-opening when they realize that it's not as easy as they thought it was going to be. They think, oh, I'm 30 now, I'll get to race against the old people. But then they figure out, oh, wait a minute, there's not that much of a drop-off, and now I'm getting beat by these people that are older than I am. So as we look at the group here, like I said before in the the last age group heat with the men, sometimes you can look at the racing itself and determine whether people are in the same age group or not by their level of competitiveness as they head closer to the beach. If you're out in front and you look over your shoulder and you see somebody that's clearly older than you or clearly younger than you, there's really no reason to kill yourself to beat them if they're not even in your age group. In theory, anyway. A lot of times ego takes over and you don't want to be in second place. And you like those pictures coming up the beach with you in first place. So you throw that out the window and you go for it. And here they come. They're roughly, I would say, 75 yards out. We have a clear leader. This is where the shore break comes into play. Like I said, not a lot of shore break or any surf today, but even a little bump can be the difference between a first and second place, a third and a fourth place, and then even in the back of the pack here where we have our age groupers who may be vying for a regional championship in their age group, a little bit of shore break may be able to determine who wins that. So here they go, they're headed up the beach. We have kind of a light jog, so I'm guessing that these women are easily winning their respective age groups. No reason to kill themselves here. They have many more events to go. This comes down to energy conservation. But as we watch, you'll see there will be some competitiveness coming in as people look on either side and they go, wait a minute, that person's in my age group, I better kick it in. Looks like we have a little race here coming up the beach. And now we're finishing up with the final paddlers here in the age group board race. Okay, welcome back. We're done with the age groups. We have the open men's board race finalists lined up on the beach here. These are the top 16 paddlers in the region. These are the people that made it through in the prelims, 8 in each heat. This is where the truly competitive paddlers let it all go here. This won't be any saving your energy for the final. This is where they let it go and they go for it. And they're off. Here we go. I would imagine Chase Robertson is one of our leaders and favorites here. We also always have some good paddlers from Deerfield. Destin is always known for their paddleboard prowess. We see everybody's headed out to that. I'm still not sure if they're going to use the flag line or they're going to use the 2 inside apex buoys. I'm guessing that they're probably just going to use the flag line. They probably asked the competitors what they preferred. And because, like I said, the course is so far out there, it's a good 600 meters, and that's what this race is designed to be anyway. So they may be just using the flag line. As we get closer, I'll let you know. So in the prelims, we saw that there was a much larger spread out group with respect to the paddlers' distance from each other. These are our top 16 paddlers, so they're very close, tightly packed here. Utilizing strategy, like I said, we have that current that's pushing north to south. Some people purposely paddling a little bit at a northern angle to use that current to their advantage. Some people getting caught in the back and being pushed south now are having to paddle against that current to make it around that first flag. Looks like we are using the flag line and we're not using the apex buoys, which is fine with me and obviously fine with them. In first and second place, it looks like we have a Destin paddler. They have the black and white striped beanies. And in tied there for first, or maybe in a close second, I can't tell from here. I'm not sure who that is. Like I said, Chase Robertson is always a strong competitor in this event. We also have some excellent paddlers from all over the region, including Deerfield Beach. But it's clearly somebody from Destin in first place here. He has decided that he's going to go to his knees for that first leg out to the flag line, across the flag line. He's going to briefly go down to his chest, I would imagine, save up a little bit of energy, rest those knee paddling muscles, and then he's going to pop back up to his knees as we get closer to the beach. The second place guy, who did mostly prone paddling along the flag line, is now going to try to make it the whole way in on his knees. But we have an excellent race here for first and second place. Our Destin paddlers now in second place. I wish I could tell you who that is in first place, but I just can't see from where I'm at. I'm sorry about that. And we have our third place paddler trying to gain a little bit of ground. This is where you kind of kick it in to catch that draft of the paddler in front of you. Fourth, fifth, and sixth are spread out just behind third place. This is going to be very interesting as we get to the shore. The Destin guy is using that side draft that I talked about earlier. There's 2 drafts on a paddleboard. You have the back draft right off the tail of the board. Then you have the side draft, which comes off the wake of the nose of the board. And we have our Destin paddler. Looks like he's a very experienced paddler, taking advantage of that side draft, but it's not allowing him to get enough speed to pass our first place paddler. We're now in that depth where the paddlers are trying to determine when to jump off and start running. We also have a little bit of shore break. Our first paddler is up. He's running. It looks like he's clearly going to win this. Our Destin guy's in second place, third, fourth, fifth place, coming up the beach. Sixth place with the green board, just exiting the water. And like I said, everybody in this heat is going to get points. This is our top 16 paddlers in the region. So even the person in last place will be scoring a valuable point for their team towards the team championship. So that 1 point may not seem very important right now, but I guarantee you at the end of the competition tomorrow, we're going to have some teams that are very close going into the final events. And maybe that 1 point that this paddler got for the last place in Open is going to help their team to get a better place in the overall team championship. So we're finished here with the Open Men's Board Race Championship. We're going to head up to the north end of the course, and we have the ladies lined up here for the Open Women's Board Race final here for the regional championship here at the 2025 James P. Mac McCarthy Southeast Regional Lifeguard Championship. Like I said, this event is in its 48th year. This is named after James P. Mac McCarthy. If you don't know who that is, he is a life-saving legend in our region. Lifeguard for almost 50 years, guarded at 4 different beaches, including Dania Beach. He retired from Hollywood Beach. He also worked 15 years in Fort Lauderdale, and he started his lifeguarding career in the Marine Corps in Europe. A lot of life-saving experience that Mac brought to us. A lot of us looked up to him as a mentor in life-saving. Also a fierce competitor, known as an Ironman, winning the Ironman championship in his age group many times. Fantastic rower, taught a lot of us how to row. We miss Mac, but I'm glad that we can continue this event in his name, in his honor. The ladies are up at the start line. They're getting ready, listening for the gun, ready to go. In the hands of the starter, they are off. The women here, this is the Open Women's Board Race, also called the Paddleboard Race or the Rescue Board Race. Like I said, in the men's race, there will not be a lot of coasting, a lot of relaxing. This will be a fierce competitive race, scratching, clawing, kicking, anything to get that one extra place. We have a clearly defined leader here. Behind the leader, looks like we have a pack of 4. Actually, it looks like 5 women in that second group. A little bit of drafting going on by the second place paddler. It's always a gamble to jump up and lead the pack because you're not taking advantage of any draft. You're cutting the water for all the competitors behind you, which takes a little bit more energy. The people that decide to do that are very confident in their training, in their skill set. They have the belief that they can hold that position the whole race. You've seen this kind of strategy in cycling and also in the swim race. A lot in car racing even, they use drafting. So drafting is something that we use in many different competitive races. Very important here in the paddleboard race. So you have the paddler out in front, deciding that she's going to lead this pack, and then the paddlers behind her are either using her backdraft or they're trying to use the side draft of the paddlers on their sides. Tight pack here of 6 paddlers in the front here. They're hitting the first flag in the flag line. Like I said, it's about a 200-meter paddle out to that first flag, then 100 meters across, and then 100 meters or 200 meters back in. And those aren't exact distances. This course looks like it might even be farther than that, maybe in the 500 to 600 meter distance. As they head across the flag line, our first place woman is still in first place. Clearly second place is right on her tail, taking advantage of that draft. We have a great race for third place. You see the knee paddler versus the prone paddler. Fifth place is now jumped up to her knees to try to catch them from the back. That top 5 is kind of out in front of the rest of the group. We have 16 women in this final. Everyone in this event will get points. Top 5 will medal. So even if you're not getting the hardware, you're still getting valuable points for your team. And these points do add up. And at the end of tomorrow, your 3rd, 4th, 5th, or even 16th place points will be very important as we determine who the championship team is at this event. We'll have trophies for the top 3 places. And of course, you can't put a price on bragging rights. So even if you came in 4th, 5th, 6th, whatever, you still have bragging rights on the people that you beat. So you have that to talk about at the post-event party. Okay, we're heading into the finish line here. We're still maybe 75 yards out. I see a little bit of a swell on the shoreline, some little knee-high shore break. Every little bump is important as you head into the finish line. Gives you a little extra speed, allows you to rest your hamstrings so that you can pop off your board and sprint up to the finish line. Looks like our 2nd place paddler throughout the whole race is now in 1st place. Looks like she's going to win this event, so she played some excellent strategy there. 2nd place, there were a lot of place changes here in the final 50 yards. Our top 5 women are in. We have 6th place running up the beach, 7th, 8th, 9th. And like I said, even if you're at the end of this group, you're still getting a valuable point for your team. That concludes the board race competition. Once again, a big shout out to our supporters. Beaches Entertainment Eatery. Make sure that you visit Beaches. Jolyn Swimwear. A lot of our competitors are wearing Jolyn products. For your legal needs, please hit up Wagner Lawyer Dude. Cubco Screen Printing and Embroidery. If you liked the shirts that we're wearing, hit them up. The Fish Tank, make sure you check out the Fish Tank. Waterman Lifeguard Gear. A lot of our competitors wear these uniforms not only to compete but also on their jobs. Sea Tow for your stranded vessel needs. Tropical Seas Land Shark. Sun and Skincare, keep that skin looking young. Please hit up the Ocean Deck after the event for some post-event libation. And if you have any healthcare needs, please hit up Advent Health. And of course, thanks again to Hard Rock Hotel, our favorite hotel here in Daytona Beach. And for your lifeguard statistical needs at the end of the year when you have to turn in your statistics to the USLA, make sure you use Watchtower to compile those for you. If you love the water and want to compete one day, think about becoming a career ocean lifeguard. Especially live in this area, try out for the Volusia County Beach Safety Lifeguards.
My name is Tony Beasley. I became a full-time lifeguard because I enjoy helping people and I love working outdoors.
My name's Marin and I want to be a lifeguard because my dad used to be one and I like being on the beach. My name is Ricky, and the reason I chose to be a Volusia County lifeguard is because I like the lifestyle, working out, staying in shape, helping people out. It's a labor of love for me, and that's why I chose to be a lifeguard.